Hey yo, what's good though? Soul here, and welcome back to the story mode. So obviously this is a very different video than what I'm used to. What am I doing here? After seeing the recent trailer that introduced us to our new Pokemon I don't know what the name of it is, but it's adorable. Anyway, after getting introduced to that Pokemon, it really came to my attention that I never really got a chance to talk about my opinion on just the Pokemon themselves. Since the original reveal of the game, we've gotten introduced to a very good handful of new Pokemon. And since I usually don't go out of my way to do reactions on super little individual videos like Graveyard's reveal, for example, I never really got a chance to give my opinion on a lot of these new Pokemon that we've met so far. So I've been sitting, racking my brain, and I decided, you know what, why don't we go ahead and do something a little different? The game's only a couple of weeks away, we're probably not going to get too much crazy news within those couple of weeks, so why don't we just have a little bit of fun and do something a little different? For this video here, I have compiled all of my quick and general thoughts on all of the new Pokemon that have been revealed so far. I'm going to describe my general thoughts on their design, their abilities, and just what I overall feel towards them in a rating video. Now notice how I didn't say a ranking or a tier list video. I was originally going to do that, however, I think that would be more fun once we've gotten our hands on all of the Paldean Pokemon once we've actually gotten to know them. As of right now, they're keeping a lot of these other Pokemon under lock and key. We don't even know a lot about the Pokemon that we do know about. So in turn, personally, it doesn't really make much sense for me to put them on a tier list because I don't know if they're actually even good or not. I don't know what their move pools are, I don't know what their egg groups are and stuff like. I don't know anything about these Pokemon or what their usefulness could be to me on the actual battlefield. Sounds a little messed up when I put it like that, but you get what I'm getting at. So, long story short, we'll go ahead and do some kind of tier list video of some kind after we've played through Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And hell, we could most likely also do gym leaders and stuff like that too, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Alright, well, I think we've held off long enough on this. I have gone through the entirety of the website on all of the Pokemon that are available there and given my thoughts and a score for each Pokemon. This isn't going to be crazy in depth or anything like that, it's just my general thoughts and a score. And also, I'm not going to be doing the legendaries because we have literally no information besides their designs and their names. I don't know their typings, I don't know anything else, but I'm not going to sit here and assume. We'll get to them sometime down the line. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and give a rating to every Pokemon that we've met so far in Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. So first along, we have the starters, who are the only ones on this list who are not in alphabetical order for whatever reason. First up is Sprigatito. This little grass cat here has caused more anxiety in the Pokemon community than I have ever seen. It's kinda funny. Anyhow, it's got a very basic grass cat design, super cute, can't really go wrong with that. And very obviously, it is a grass type Pokemon. There's really no confusion there. And because it's a starter, it gets the most basic grass ability you can think of, Overgrow. I like this cat's design and I can't wait to see what kind of chaos it ensues once it evolves. 7 out of 10. I don't know if I'll be picking it for my starter, but I'll definitely be considering it. Up next on that list is Fuecoco. It's a little chilly dinosaur. It's so cute. Look at how dumb he looks. I love his design so much. It's actually not funny. And he's apparently gonna sprint toward any food that it finds with a glint in its eye. He's just like me, for real, for real. He looks like a best friend. He looks friend-shaped, and I'm never getting over that. I love his design. He's a very basic fire type so far with the basic ability Blaze, so no surprise there, but you know what? I love this little guy. 9 out of 10, only because he's one of the two most likely that I'm gonna end up picking. Aside from him though, and ending off the starters, we have Quaxly. This is just an anime sailor duck. Like, in every way, shape, and form. I really truly do not know how else to describe this Pokemon. This is the most anime thing on the Paldean Pokédex by far. Of course, because of the whole pirate aesthetic, which is what a lot of us are assuming because of the hat and the fact that he's a water type, I am really hoping he evolves into some kind of pirate captain duck thing. It would be so awesome. But as of right now, we're working with Quaxly. He's a duck. I like his design. He has a very basic typing because, you know, it's a starter typing. And he has a very basic ability because he's a starter. Can't really get mad at him for that. He has my favorite design out of the 3. That's why I'm giving him a 9 out of 10. I really like him, and I hope his evolutions are even better. So now that we've gotten past the starters, we could finally start moving into the other Pokemon. Let's start with Armorogue. This Pokemon is badass in every way, shape, and form. This thing is the main character. Look at this thing. It's got the stance as if it's the hero, cause it probably is. People are saying that this thing is very much equivalent to that of the Mega Man robots, and you know what? That's fire. That's absolute fire, literally. And obviously, its typing is just as awesome as its design. Fire Psychic? There are only 2 other Pokemon with that typing in the entire series, and one of them is a mythical, the other one is a starter that nobody cared about. I mean, I'm not really ragging on you if you like Delphox, but to be fair, it came from the same generation as Greninja. Nobody was talking about any other starter other than Greninja to me, so personally, I haven't heard it. But anyway, yeah, this is definitely the best Fire Psychic type Pokemon on the market, for sure. Flash Fire is pretty cool. If I have a Grass type or an Ice type out in the field, hey, guess what? Boom, sucker, Flash Fire. Now I'm 50% stronger, and then I'm gonna Terrestrialize? Oh my god, your entire team is finished with Flamethrower. That's it for you. So, long story short, this Pokemon is dope. Easy 10 out of 10, no questions asked. Let's move on. Next in line here is Bellibolt. I love him. I would squeeze the hell out of it. I don't care if I get zapped. At first, its design was extremely odd to me, and then I saw its little arms, and I'm like, oh my god. He like waddles, I can't. I love it too much. I want a big pillow of him, for real. Depending on certain factors, this might just be the main electric type that I end up running with. Yes, I know Shinx is present, but I have a rule that I have to use new Pokemon every playthrough with a new Pokemon game. So, that's just how it is. Anyway, it does have access to 2 different abilities, being either Electromorphosis or Static. Electromorphosis as an ability is kind of busted because if you attack it, it kind of works like Charge without needing to use a turn. So yeah, this could really be a really good Pokemon, which is why I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 9 out of 10. I love its design, its ability could be really cool, and I love electric types. Moving along from that, next along is the Pokemon of the hour itself, Cerulege. This Pokemon is like the best thing since eggs and bacon. You've heard me say it a million times, and I will say it a million more. This Pokemon has one of the best designs in the history of the series, and you can fight me on that. Its aesthetic, and its colors, and its design, its armor, its swords, it's perfect. It is peak design. And to top it off, it's got an amazing typing, Fire Ghost? It's beautiful. If I can help it, I will literally never touch Chandelure ever again. This triumphs in every single way. This thing also has Flash Fire, which is only fair. Its counterpart got it, so this should get it. It's the same but different. I get it. Fine. And you know what? Flash Fire is still a great ability anyway, so I'm rocking with it. This thing obviously gets an easy 1 million out of 10. It's just the best thing that I've seen to come from this game. By far, no contest. Why don't I just go ahead and move along before I'm not able to shut myself up? Next along on the list here is Cetitan. This is an odd one for me, and it's definitely because the younger version of myself would never have thought twice about completely ignoring this Pokemon. However, after utilizing Phalanx in 8th gen for the first time, older me has come to actually really appreciate single stage evolution Pokemon. Hence why this Pokemon has definitely caught my eye. It's definitely oddly designed, but you know, it's kind of badass in its own way. It's an ice type whale, and you know what? That's pretty dope. Fun fact about me, ice type is one of my favorite typings. And then finally, when it comes down to abilities, it has the option to either have Slush Rush or Thick Fat. If it has Slush Rush, teach a hail and run a house on the enemy team. If it has Thick Fat, hey, guess what? You got a thick tank tanking hits for you, bro. All in all, really dope Pokemon. 8 out of 10. There's a very good chance of me using this thing. Next up, we have Silazar. I feel kind of bad because I feel absolutely nothing towards this Pokemon. Like, I don't care about it. It looks very much like it's the pre-evolution to the legendary Pokemon because obviously they all have wheels in their chest, but I don't know what to think about that. I don't even care about this Pokemon. It's like I just want to get to the legendaries, which we're gonna have right off the bat anyway. I really don't get it. Anyway, its design is kind of bland. It's a motorcycle lizard. Alright, that we already have the legendaries, so this is just a step down from that. It's a dragon and a normal type. I don't know what else to say about that. I really don't. And its ability is Shed Skin. I may as well just get myself a Dragonite, because what the heck. I feel kind of bad because it almost feels like I haven't really given this Pokemon a chance at all, but it's just because the little bit that I've seen has yet to impress me. So for now, I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't bring much to the table for me. Next along on the big list is Farigiraf. Still a very dangerous name. For starters, absolutely love its design. It feels like it's like some kind of like alien, kind of like he's from Pikmin, that has the little helmet and everything like that, even though I know damn well it's just its tail migrating to its head. And on top of a nice design, it's an evolution. It's not just a regional variant, it's an evolution. That is incredible for Girafarig. Perfect! Like I've been saying for a long time, and I'm sure a lot of you have been saying for a long time, that there are just Pokemon that are completely underutilized that need that revamp, whether it be through regional variants or through new evolutions. And this is precisely the example that we were talking about. I don't know one person whose favorite Pokemon is Girafarig, but Farigiraf could definitely change that. Now, while its design and the fact that it's an evolution is absolutely stellar, its typing leaves a little bit to be desired. Now here's the thing, of all the typings to mix with normal, Psychic is really good. Like, I have no qualms about that. However, based on its design, it feels more like a dark Psychic. No? I don't know, I just feel like tacking on that normal typing and just keeping it there, it doesn't really do it the justice that it deserves, but you know what? Maybe I'm tripping. It could get some new exclusive moves, we'll see what happens. Anyway, besides its typing, this Pokemon brings 2 brand new abilities to the table. Kudchu is absolutely fire. Eating twice in the same turn, that's epic. And a little busted. And then there's Armor Tail, which completely does not allow the opponent to use priority moves. Okay then, sure, you really can't go wrong either way. All in all, awesome Pokemon all around, very good chance of me using it on my team. 9 out of 10. Next along, we have young boy Fido. Look at him. He's a literal loaf of bread. Yes! I love everything about Fido, for real. Before initially working on the script for this particular video, I actually had no idea that Fido was a fairy type. I was literally sitting here thinking for the last couple of months that this was a normal type Pokemon. I am so glad that it's not. Its ability, Own Tempo, it's whatever. Hey, it can't be hit by stuff like Confusion. Okay, that's really cool. In the main story, I'm sure I'm eventually gonna run into an NPC that will definitely abuse that move, and Fido would be perfect for it, so that's cool. All in all, well-designed Pokemon, sick typing, but its ability could be a little bit better, which is why I'm gonna go ahead and give it an 8 out of 10. Who knows? Even despite its weird typing, it might still end up on my team. Moving on down, next up is Grafaiai. It's pretty weird. I really don't have much to say on this Pokemon's design. I mean, it's the closest we have to an actual, like chimp, I guess? I mean, its design is kind of unique, but we already have an artist Pokemon, so this one's just kind of like the artist of the Paldean region, I guess? Cool, whatever. Now, anybody that's played Pokemon for a number of years could look at this thing from a mile away and be like, yeah, that's definitely a poison type, and they'd be completely right. They would just be missing the fact that it's also part normal type as well. What's up with them tacking on normal typing to everything? Whatever, I guess it's just a little bit of a bonus, and a minus in some cases. Now, it does have access to 2 different abilities, one of them being Unburden and the other one being Poison Touch. Unburden, I mean, I guess if you decide to let it hold like a berry or something like that, when it gets used, that's when it's at its best. On the other hand though, Poison Touch is generally just universally much easier to access. I'll be completely honest, I don't really know the capabilities of that ability. I've never used it in competitive, so y'all tell me. Overall, I'll go ahead and give it like a 5 out of 10, only because, you know, its design I'm not crazy attached to or anything like that. Hopefully it has a really cool evolution, because it does look like it has potential, and its typing is nice. I'm just not really attached to it right now. Also, it's super forgettable. I completely forgot that this Pokemon existed until I looked at the website. Moving on down here, we finally reached the good boy of the hour, Greavard. Just to start off, the introduction to this Pokemon was absolutely insane. The fact that just being around it literally kills you is tragic. They showed that off in a trailer. That's so dark. Why do they like killing people in their trailers? Anyway, design-wise, he's super cute. He's a very fluffy boy with a candle on his head. It's the perfect graveyard dog type beat. It's perfect. Now, I know that I probably shouldn't compare as much, but here's the thing. Unfortunately, Scarlet is a final member on my team. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't really need two ghost types, so I don't really see just a plain bare bones ghost type fitting on my team alongside Scarlet. So, you know, obviously it's a ghost typing, and if it were to have another typing, it would be a fire typing, but that would be a problem because we already have Scarlet, not even to mention Litwick, which it already looks like. So in hindsight, it's a little bit of a mess there because you can't really tack on anything else that would make sense. I don't know, I guess we'll just have to see what it evolves into. But anyway, besides that, its only ability, at least based on the website, is pickup. Don't know what that's gonna do for me in the long run, so I'm not exactly crazy about that. Overall, I like the design. Very cool typing because that's what it is, a ghost dog. If I had to rate it, probably a solid 6 or 7 out of 10. The only thing that bogs it down is the fact that Scarlet exists, and if I have to pick a ghost type Pokemon to put on my team, it's gonna be Scarlet every single time, especially because we already have another dog Pokemon, Fido, that we just got introduced to. So I don't know, I feel like it's just kind of unfair. I'll definitely make myself use one for a second playthrough, but for my first, I already got my ghost type picked out. However, if it's not a version exclusive, then maybe in Scarlet I can use it on my first playthrough. We'll see what happens with that. Next along here is actually Cloth. What's funny to me is that this thing isn't even labeled as a crab Pokemon. It's called the Ambush Pokemon. That is hilarious. Especially because if you look at its art, it looks like you caught it in the act of doing something wrong. But it's ambushing you apparently. That's so ironic. I love it. So this thing is just purely rock type, which is actually pretty interesting. I kind of figured that the way it burrows and stuff like that, I kind of figured it would also be a ground type, but honestly, a rock type, pure and simple, that's perfectly fine. Usually there's not a lot of pure rock type Pokemon that I'm going out of my way to even think about, so honestly, I ain't mad about it. Now as far as abilities go, this thing is actually pretty damn stacked. It either gets the Shell Armor ability, where you cannot deal critical hits to it, another ability that's great for Nuzlocke, or the Anger Shell ability, where if it falls below 50%, it goes on complete offense mode and loses 1 stage of defense. This is a sick Pokemon. And right now, I'm thinking about going ahead and dropping an 8 out of 10 on this sucker, because he might end up on my final team. A typing that could be super useful, great abilities, funny ass design. Hell, he pretty much checks out every box that I could think of. Next along, we have the infamous Lechonk. In all honesty, its name alone deserves a 10 out of 10 because it's hilarious and it's perfect. But outside of its name, it is a pretty generic looking pig Pokemon. It's cute, I like its design, but I don't know, it's a little too basic, you know? It's a normal type hog Pokemon, which means that when it evolves, it's probably going to be tanking hits and dishing them out just as hard. Pretty standard stuff there, I'd say. Nothing special. However though, as far as abilities go, it does get Aroma Veil. Pretty much any taunting move like Taunt, Encore, and Torment and stuff like that, he's just like, nah, I don't care, bro, I'm still gonna use the move. So I'd say that's a pretty good one. Gluttony is also pretty good in certain situations, so I don't know, he could be really cool. All in all, if I had to give Young Boy a score, it'd probably be like a 6 out of 10, but it'd be a high 6, because it's not like I have anything against it, it's just that right now, it's not anything special, but it does have a lot of potential. Next along here on the list is Paldean Wooper. It's Wooper, but it's brown now, and it actually looks a lot closer to an Axolotl than it was originally, so You know what? That's cool. Now, personally, I was already never really all that attached to the Wooper line. Quagsire was not really one of the Pokemon that I would really go out of my way to use. Not a huge fan of its design, but I can definitely admit Quagsire was a good-ass Pokemon. Phenomenal typing. Water Ground, unstoppable. In this region, it's a Poison Ground type. I cannot think of a Pokemon that actually shares that typing. That's pretty sick. This time around, it does have access to 2 abilities. One of them being Poison Point, which is, you know, pretty cool, accurate, as it should. It's a Poison-type Pokemon. Why wouldn't it? And then on the other hand, it has Water Absorb, which seems kind of BS, considering that it's a Poison Ground type that should definitely be swept by a Water type, no issue. Like, I don't know, that kind of feels like cheating. But I mean, hey, who am I to go ahead and stop them? If they really want to go ahead and make busted Pokemon, that's their prerogative. Frankly, I'm not going to complain until I'm fighting one anyway, so we'll just leave it at that for now. All in all, Paldean Wooper has a lot of potential to be really useful. In my personal opinion, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Only reason I'm giving it a 7 instead of an 8 is because I'm very scared of its evolution. I already wasn't a fan of Quagsire's design originally, so I don't know what it's gonna look like brown. It sounds gross. Next along here, we have Pawmi, who is one of the main partner Pokemon of our rival. It's kind of chunky looking, but I really like it. I really like its color, I like its design. I'm assuming that this is supposed to be the Pikachu of this region. And I'm sure most of us came to this conclusion because it's a very basic mouse electric type Pokemon. However though, Pawmi looks the least like a mouse to me. Am I tripping? Honestly, I had no idea what Pawmi was until I saw its description on the website, so can you blame me? Anyway, stepping aside from its design for a second, it's got some pretty okay abilities. Static is always very useful, and Natural Cure, that can work for pretty much any situation. So, that's awesome. Can't really go wrong either way. Overall, I like the design, I love electric types, and its abilities could be super useful. I think that a solid 7 out of 10 is pretty fair, wouldn't you say? Don't know if it's going to stay on my final team, but it is probably going to end up on my early team, so we'll play that part by ear. Next along on the decks here, we have Smoliv. Fun fact about me, I don't really like olives. And I hate wimps even more. I don't care how adorable they are. Design-wise, it's super cute. It just looks crazy pathetic. What's baffling to me is that it's grass normal typing. Why does it have a normal type? Like I said earlier, what is up with all of the normal type tackings to these Pokemon? Do they really need it? I don't get it. Am I missing something here? Is that more helpful to have? You guys tell me. Anyhow, the only ability that we know of right now is Early Bird. I mean, yeah, it could be useful in the right situations, but of all of the status effects to be worried about in Pokemon, sleep is definitely not one of them for me. Hey, go ahead, call me petty, but personally, it's just such a situational thing that it doesn't seem all that useful overall. Overall, when it comes to Smoliv, its design is super cute. I love the colors and stuff on it, but overall, just not really a Pokemon that I'm all that attached to right now, so for now, I guess I'll go ahead and give this one like a 4 out of 10. And finally, ironically, we have reached the very bottom. Come out of the ground, Wiglet, you're up. This is just overall a completely absurd Pokemon. Like, of all of the Pokemon that I could think of that needed regional variants, Diglett was not one of them. The Garden Eel Alright, whatever, cool. Anyway, it's a water type. We have an absurd amount of those as it is. It has access to the abilities Gooey and Rattled. Gooey kind of makes sense. I don't know what the texture of a garden eel is, but it lowers the attacker's speed. That's neat. And then Rattled is extremely specific. It has to have a certain type of Pokemon hit it with that move, and then it raises its speed stat. Okay, whatever. As you can clearly see, I really don't have much to say about this Pokemon. I don't plan on using it outside of filling up my Pokedex, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 3 out of 10. I'm sorry, I just don't have any attachment to it. And I know that that evolution is going to look absolutely ridiculous. So, that's all there is to it. And that just about does it for all of the Pokemon that we've met in the Paldea region so far, minus the legendaries. We will do a proper video for them when we've actually met and understood what these Pokemon are. And hell, who knows? Knowing Pokemon, the moment that this video is ready to go up, they'll probably release a video saying that they're going to release information regarding the legendaries or some other new Pokemon that we're just completely going to miss, because my timing is just that bad. Anyhow, I want to make two things clear. One, these are just my personal opinions. You do not have to agree with me. That is totally okay. If you disagree with me or anybody else that agrees with me, that's totally fine. But, you know, be civil. That's the whole point. It's a discussion. And then, to tack onto that, my opinions are completely subject to change. At the time of this recording, we still have about 3 full weeks before this game is even out. So, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about any of these Pokemon by the time the game actually comes out, except for Scarlet. That Pokemon is hands down gonna be one of my top 20, easy, top 10 even. But I digress, Scarlet is a completely special case. Everybody else, you never know. Anyway, I think that just about wraps up everything I need to say, because this video is definitely long enough. So, obviously, because I'm tired of talking, I'm gonna go ahead and hand it over to you guys. What are you guys thinking about the Pokédex so far? Do you like the Paldean entries so far? Do you hate them? Do you like some more than others? Do you hate some more than others? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Tell me everything you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I'm always down there with you guys. But with that, I'm gonna get the hell up out of here. I'd like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this. And with that, I'm outro. Thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!